Welcome to Onslow County Today. I'm your host, Lisa Whitman-Grice, and it is that special time of year, time for our annual tree lighting ceremony. And you can see we go big when it comes to tree lightings. Today we're going to have some special guests join us to talk about this most wonderful time of year and also some year-end reminders. We're going to be talking with Megan Beecham from Onslow County Piers. We'll also be speaking with our tax administrator, Kevin Turner. We'll meet Aaron Mortensen, new to the Onslow County Public Library System, to find out all about holiday happenings at our libraries. We'll also visit with Jennifer Montefort from Onslow County Animal Services with some important reminders about responsible pet care, especially during this season. We'll talk with Kim Collins with some important tips and reminders about safety when it comes to pet ownership and encounters with pets. And finally, we'll talk with the Queen of Christmas, LaQuisha Cadwallader, about these special activities that are going on. Lastly, we'll visit with our Onslow County Manager, Sharon Griffin, with a message for this important season. It is indeed the most wonderful time of the year right here in Onslow County. Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Megan Beecham from the Onslow County Piers program. Megan, we're so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you for having us.
So, as we were talking off camera, I am totally biased in my love of what Piers does and the work with young parents. And we're going to talk today about your adolescent parenting program. So first, I always, for folks who might be watching us the first time, love to have some groundwork. So if you could just sort of give us the basics. What is the APP?
Right, so the APP program is basically a home visiting program where we go into the home and we work with them using a curriculum called Parents as Teachers that focuses on the development of their children through parent interaction, learning through play, very intentional parenting, so teaching them all those skills and developmental techniques that they need, but in a fun way, a way that makes it relevant to them.
And so when we talk about this idea of making these in-home visits with these parents, how does that make a difference in the life of both the parent and the life of the child?
So we do, it's more of a personalized approach to being in their home, being in an environment that's comfortable for them and the child's environment. We focus a lot on activities using the household items that they have. So it's very useful to be in the child's room with them, in their home. Go get this out of the kitchen, get a book out of the kid's room, and we're going to do this activity together. So it just makes them feel so much more comfortable, I think, being in their environment, their home, and seeing how we can utilize the things they already have to help their child develop, teach their child skills, and improve their parenting skills at the same time.
Well, let's talk about that, because when that child emerges into the world, you can have read every book available. You can have, go to classes. These are all important things. And when that little person is here, they're all yours.
Right.
And that instruction manual, while incredibly helpful, doesn't answer every question.
Right, exactly.
And so talk about this idea of this practical, being a parent, regardless of age, regardless of the number of children that you've had in your lifetime, is scary.
Right.
And how do you all alleviate, assuage that sort of fear, especially because you're dealing with first-time parents?
Right. So we really try to, of course, meet them where they are. Get on a level that they're on, and first let them know that we understand. It is very scary for, like you said, the most experienced parent, but especially that first one, and our kids are so young, our parents are kids themselves. So we really try to, make sure we give them the message that we're here for you, that we're going to empower you on developing your parenting technique, on your parenting skills. You're the expert on this child, and you are going to be the one who figures out what's best for this child with our support.
And let's talk about that too, because this idea of support, oftentimes with your parents, they might not have that home support,
right,
or that network of family or friends. How do you all fill that gap and become their village?
Right. So we not only through the parenting program offer those classes, we help them with linking them to resources for furthering their education, for finding employment. We will take them to doctor's appointments. We will take them to job interviews. We help them with all those kinds of things that you need as a kid who's also parenting, filling in those spots where their own parents might not be able to help. So we offer a lot of supportive services.
And when we also think about being an adolescent, parenting another person, you're not quite there yourself yet. You've got some growth. We always all have growth that can be done, but really when you're 15, 16, 17, you still have so much of your own growth. You still have a lot of need yourself. Talk about how you help those young parents sort of in their own personal growth.
Right, so we want to set them up for making decisions. That's always what I try to talk to them about, is the steps that we're going to take are going to give you options. So we are linking them to resources and being supportive in that aspect, but also trying to instill that independence so that they're learning how to make these decisions for themselves, kind of find their own path and set up their own future while setting up their child's future for the most success they can have. So we really try to instill that as well, this independence they're gaining as individuals and parents. So really trying to support that.
Now, how can we as a community support you?
Yeah, that's a great question. We get a lot of support from our community through donations, also through referrals. That's really supportive of us and those kids we're trying to serve. They might not know about our program, and we really try to get our message out there, get our program out there. And we get a lot of kids who come in and say, hey, my mom's friend told me about this program, or someone at church told me about this program. So that's also really helpful for our program and our kids, just getting our message out there.
And how can we refer them to you? Where do we find you? How can we find out more information?
Sure. So we have a website, PRFamilyDevelopmentCenter.com. They can call us. Our number is listed on the website. If you just have them call us, or if you give me their number, I will reach out to them. So it's a very informal process, I would say, as far as making a referral. And then we set up that first home visit and go in and get them signed up and just go from there.
Now, you mentioned the referral process. In terms of sort of the phases, can it be an expectant parent as well as a person who's already delivered, or what's the timeline?
So we work with parenting and pregnant teens. We can work with them up until the day before their 20th birthday.
Okay.
So there's no minimum age requirement, but that's the oldest they can be. This can only be their first pregnancy or child. Okay. One of our goals is delaying subsequent pregnancies, so of course that is a requirement of the program. And they do have to be in school or employed.
Okay.
So those are the few requirements we have. If they're under 18, their parents do have to consent to them being in the program, but then we of course are working with that parenting teen or pregnant teen. So
okay. And really it's about that path as a successful parent, and as they then transition into adulthood, you're giving them beyond parenting skills.
Right.
You're giving them life skills.
We're trying. That's our goal.
Well, Megan, again, certainly this is our holiday show, and when you think about those young parents and those new families, what's your wish for them?
My wish for them is to gain the confidence that they need. That's something I really, really strive to give our teens that we're working with. It is, like we said, a very scary place to be. Everyone's unsure as a first-time parent, but especially when you're young. So I really try to instill that in them, that, you know, that belief in yourself, that's where it has to start, you know, believing in yourself, gaining that confidence. So hopefully giving them those skills to start developing that confidence is really what I like to see in them.
Well, thank you for that, that wish for them. And we want one more thing. We just want the main telephone number there at Pierce so that when people want to reach out and know more about what you're doing, how can they do that?
So it's 910-333-9727.
Megan, thank you for what you're doing for our families, for these young parents, and for their little people.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And joining us now is a new friend, not only with Onslow County Today, but with Onslow County. We have Erin Mortensen joining us from the Onslow County Public Library. Erin, we're so glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here this morning.
So let's talk a little bit first about you, Erin. You've come to the library. You've been there about 6 weeks now. And what's your sort of background? What do you do as marketing specialist with the library?
So as the marketing specialist, obviously I do TV appearances, but I'm also working on keeping our social media pages up to date with all of the latest events that we have going on. I also do a lot of our paper assets. So we release a quarterly newsletter that has all of our events listed, as well as like monthly calendars and flyers and things that you can just pick up at the library and take home with you. All
of those beautiful, because I'm still a refrigerator person. I still want it right there so I can see it, right?
Yes, so not everything is digital.
Fantastic. So Erin, it's the holiday season, and the libraries, while busy 11 months out of the year, constantly serving our community, the holidays are a little special. You invite some special guests in. What are some of the things that you all first and foremost have for this sort of break time as kids are getting out? We know that our stories times will be on a little bit of a pause. They always are this time of year as we get closer to the end of the traditional school year. But you have some special things going on, including one special green visitor at a couple sites. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we have quite a few Grinch events happening. We have at our Swansboro and our Richlands libraries, we have the Grinch Family Holiday Program. So we'll have some fun activities set up for you guys, as well as a viewing of the How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated movie.
The traditional original?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yes, it's actually the 65th anniversary, so it'll be really fun to celebrate that.
Well, so we've got this wonderful celebration of the Grinch and this time with movies and crafts. When we look at that program, that's a family program, so it's not a drop-off event. This is for the whole family.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So everyone's invited, and there should be something for everybody to enjoy.
That is awesome. And again, that's at Main Branch and at Richlands. And the date on that?
Well, it's at our Swansboro branch.
Swansboro, okay.
Yes, that's going to be December 3rd, starting at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And then our Richlands branch is going to be December 10th at 11 a.m.
Okay, so they have sort of a little special event. It's not, that's sort of a whole holiday day, I think they're looking at there as well. Now at Maine, what are we doing at Maine?
So we do still have a Grinch activity at the Maine Library.
Okay.
It's going to be 60 Grinchy activities in 30 days.
Okay.
Yes, so it's already started, but you're welcome to pop in any day, and we'll have some fun holiday and Grinch-related activities for you guys to enjoy with your kids.
All right, so Maine has Grinchy-inspired activities for the whole month. Then Swansboro and Richlands have sort of some special Grinch-inspired activities, including the movie time.
Correct.
All right, and then Sneads Ferry is taking a completely different approach. What are they doing there?
So first in Sneads Ferry, we have Pajama-rama.
Okay.
So that's guests can wear their pajamas to the library. It'll start around 6:30 p.m. And we're going to have holiday-themed games, activities, and crafts for you. And the best part, you get to enjoy them in your comfy clothes.
Well, all the best. I mean, Christmas is all about the Christmas PJs.
Yes, obviously.
Got to match up
Yes.
everybody. And then because Miss Jessica is really so terrific, and her team down there in Sneads Ferry with the teens, they're going to do some VR activities and some Dungeons and Dragons, I understand.
Yes, so with Dungeons and Dragons, that's happening December 8th.
Okay.
And that's just a game night you're going to play a game of D&D, and that's for kids ages 13 to 18.
Okay, so
Yeah.
our teens there who, D&D kiddos, that's their thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's their thing. They go deep with that. And then we've celebrated. We've had all the Christmas and holiday fun, and we think it's come to an end. But you guys are going to end the year right. Talk about New Year's Eve, which is really my sort of New Year's Eve, right? So
Yes.
talk about that.
So that's being hosted at 2 libraries. It's our New Year's Eve dance party. It's going to be for kids ages 0 to 5 and their caregivers. And it's just going to be a really fun morning of dancing and music and a lot of energy to help us ring in the new year.
So that's on December 30th,
Correct.
right? That Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said kickoff at 11:30?
At our Swansboro branch,
Swansboro,
it's going to be at 10 a.m.
Okay, so 11:30 at Main.
At the main branch, yes.
Okay, and then 10 in Swansboro.
Yes.
All right, they start a little earlier with their celebration. That is awesome.
We can
And
make it to both.
that way you go to both and wear your dancing shoes.
Yes,
Wear
absolutely.
your dancing shoes, because this is kicking off, ending 2022 and ready for 23. We do want to remind folks that our libraries have some special holiday hours with some additional closures because Christmas hits on the weekend. So are there any special days you want to let us know about? We know typically you all are open on Saturdays and Sundays, but with the holidays hitting on those weekends, you're going to be closed then, right?
Yes, December 23rd through 27th will be closed. And then we're closed again for the new year from December 31st to January 2nd, I believe.
All right. I think that covers everything.
Yeah.
So always, because that's a lot of activities and we want to make sure our families can join in all the festivities, what's the best way to find out more about what's going on at our public libraries?
I highly recommend following our social media pages. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're always posting the events of the week, what's happening that day, upcoming closings. Like I said earlier, we do have some print calendars and newsletters that will list the events that we have going on. And always go check out our website. Some of our events require sign up. They're all free, but they do require sign-ups for some of them. So go and check those out if you want to participate.
Well, there are holiday festivities at all 4 branches. Find the thing that fits best, or go to as many as you can fit into your schedule.
Yes.
Erin, thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you as part of the Onslow County family.
Thank you.
And glad you're here for this holiday celebration.
Me too. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of cheer to go around.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Kevin Turner, Onslow County Tax Collector, Tax Administrator. Kevin, we are so glad that you are here. We know that you've stepped into some pretty big shoes with our friend Harry upon his retirement, but you've been there right by his side for many years. Talk about sort of the energy now in our tax office.
But usually as we wind up one year and kick off the next year, there are some important dates to keep in mind.
Sure.
First is our office holiday schedule.
Right, so that's first and foremost, because as people are sort of finishing up their year and they've got important things on their calendar, top of that, part of that list is ensuring that they get their property listed properly and make sure that they get their final tax bills paid for the year. So please share with us your closures and how that impacts our citizens.
Sure. For Christmas, our offices are going to be closed December 23rd, which is a Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday, the 26th and the 27th. And for New Year's, we're going to be closed Monday, January 2nd.
Okay, so as people are looking at these other items we'll be discussing to keep those dates top of mind.
Of course.
All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is as we do get to the end of the year. People have received their tax statements, and so now it is time, if you have not yet paid your annual taxes, tax bill, this is the time to do it. So let's talk about that calendar.
Yeah, of course. The deadline to pay the 2022 property taxes, and this is for both real and personal property,
Right.
is January 5th. There are several different methods you can use to make these payments. The first one would be if you wanted to mail it in, you could do that. Just be sure that it's postmarked by the U.S. Postal Service by January 5th, so it won't be considered late. Other than that, payments can be made in person. They can be made online 24/7. They can be made using our drop box, which is located out front. Would encourage everyone to please not mail cash or put cash in the drop box.
Okay.
And please know if you use a debit card, credit card, or an e-check, there are going to be some minor third-party fees involved with that.
So the one thing we want to definitely keep in mind is that January 5th deadline.
Yes, ma'am.
Know that you've got those closures, so that if you're mailing things in, and also keep in mind that we'll have holiday mail, so things might not move as rapidly
Right.
as we anticipate. But you really all do try and accommodate whether you want to pay in person, whether you want to mail it in, call it in, and use your debit or credit card. So you've tried to meet folks where they are.
We have, and we understand that everyone has different preferences with how they handle their finances, and we try to accommodate everyone as best we can.
Very good. Well, first things first was collections. Now we want to talk about listing, because this is a little bit different. We want to talk about the listing of personal property.
Yes. The listing period annually is the same every year. It runs January 1st through January 31st.
Okay.
If the 31st happens to fall on a weekend, then we continue on to the following Monday.
Okay.
But this year, the 31st falls on a Tuesday, so that is the hard deadline to list,
Okay.
is January 31st. Anything that comes in after that would be considered a late listing.
Well, let's define for folks, because you know there's sometimes we know what real property is. We know that that's our home, our business. That's a structure, right?
Right.
But when we talk about personal property, let's define that for folks.
When you talk about personal property, it's typically anything that is not permanently affixed to land.
Okay.
If you're talking about a business, it could be computer equipment and equipment necessary to operate the business. Other examples would be utility trailers, boats, boat trailers. Things such as that are considered personal property.
All right, so it's sort of all these, you know, we joked earlier, plane, trains, and automobiles,
Right.
but automobiles are slightly different.
They are. Automobiles are handled through DMV. When
Okay.
you renew your registration, your property taxes are paid at the same time. So you
Okay.
don't have to make those payments at the tax office anymore.
All of that is really between counties in the state. That's become sort of a one-stop shop, if
It
you
has,
will.
yeah, tax and tag.
All right. Now we want to talk about, you know, certainly we know that there has been, during the last year, a revaluation of properties, and folks are still, you know, processing all of that, some folks. Let's talk a little bit about that opportunity for them to ask questions or find out more.
Right. The most recent reassessment was, of course, January 1st of 2022, and we reassess every 4 years. And we do understand that there are probably some folks out there who still have questions about that process, and may even want to appeal the assessment. And it's too late to appeal for 2022. However, there's an opportunity coming up for 2023 in which they can appeal. I would suggest they call the tax office in February and try to get an appeal scheduled in April when our Board of Equalization and Review convenes. And keep in mind that even though you're appealing in 2023, the value in question is still as of January 1st, 2022,
Right.
since that was our most recent countywide reassessment.
And you know, we want to go back. You mentioned that we do this every 4 years. The state gives you the option, and let me make sure I understand. Is it every 8 years you can do this?
Every 8 is the general statute that
Right.
each county must do a reassessment at least once every 8 years. However, there are provisions to do it more frequently. And by resolution, we're on a 4-year reassessment cycle.
And if we did it every 8 years, I imagine there would be some significant sticker shock,
There
if you
would.
will.
Yeah.
You know, to wait 8 years in between, that might
Yes, ma'am.
see some significant changes for folks.
Yep.
Now, I want to sort of touch back on each of these for folks who might be some special considerations. And I know, for example, with the listing process and then the personal property and the collections process, you also do have some exemptions.
We do. We do have some property tax relief programs for elderly or disabled, and there's also disabled veterans relief programs. And the listing period for those, it runs through June 1st.
Okay.
So they do have some time to get those applications turned in, but they can go ahead and turn those in now. They don't have to wait.
Now, Kevin, when we talk about all of these different areas, the collections, you all mailed those statements out. You know, we have sort of a timeline. Then we've also got our listing process, and then the opportunity to submit questions regarding our appraised value. All of those things, you have different teams working in our tax office who are really experts in these areas. Talk about those team members and their goals in helping the citizens.
Yeah, we have wonderful folks at the tax office. We have teams for appraisal, a team for collections, a team for the listing process. And a lot of the questions can be answered on our website. You can go to onslowcountync.gov and find the tax office there, or you could Google Onslow County Tax Office and find
First
our
thing
website that way.
pops up.
Yep, absolutely. Other than that, if you have questions, I would encourage folks to please call us. Our phone number is 910-989-2200, and someone will be glad to help them. And if they happen to get the wrong person, they can be transferred to where they need to go.
All right, you do have such helpful folks, and you know, as the year winds down, it seems to get faster.
It does.
Right?
It does.
So again, let's just hit on a couple of those key dates, Kevin, because we don't want to forget as our year does wind quickly to an end.
Right. All right. First is the Christmas closures, which is December 23rd, Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, the 26th and 27th. Next is going to be Monday, January 2nd, which is just a few days before the payment deadline of January 5th.
Very good.
And then other than that, the next deadline is June 1st for the property relief applications.
All right. Well, Mr. Turner, I am so grateful to have you here with us and to share this valuable information. Again, your telephone number one more time. We don't want folks to miss it.
Of course, 910-989-2200.
Well, Kevin Turner, thank you. We appreciate everything that you do, and we wish you the happiest of holidays.
Well, thank you for having me, and happiest holidays to you too.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is one of our friends we haven't seen in a while. We have Jennifer Montefort with the Onslow County Animal Services Department. Jennifer, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, you know, you and I have visited multiple times, especially talking about the need to adopt and foster pets and the need in our community for citizens to do that. And today is no different, right?
Oh, not at all.
And we want to talk about, especially this time of year, what that needs to look like, if you will.
So we always encourage adoption at the shelter, and holiday giving is no different. We just want to make sure it's responsible giving. So we never want it to be a surprise gift. It's really important because not all animals, not all breeds are a good fit for every family, for the recipient of the gift to be involved.
And that sort of, because you're forging a family bond here, right? This is your forever family that you're putting together, and to, you know, the idea that, and you know, someone might mean so well because they've heard, you know, perhaps a child say, oh, I want a kitten, I want a kitten, and I want a kitten, and not realizing that the other sibling has an allergy. So it's a group conversation, right?
Yeah, we definitely don't want it to be a surprise. We want the family involved. And for that reason, the shelter does offer an opportunity for someone to provide a certificate if they would like to get a pet from us. And if you want something special under the tree, you can put together a gift basket with all the toys and supplies that you need, provide that certificate, and then everyone come together to the shelter after the holidays to make sure that they're getting an animal that's going to be a good fit, and it's going to be a forever home.
That right fit, that right family member. So first and foremost, let's not make it a surprise. Let's make it a family conversation. And the shelter is there to assist us with things like gift certificates and guidance about creating that bond. You all do a wonderful job, as well as sort of acclimating the animals in the shelter to that transition to go live with a family as well. So kudos to you all for that. Now, you do have some special adoption events coming up. Let's talk about that.
We have two big events coming up. Our main event is going to be our December 3rd holiday adoption event with Stevenson Hendrick Toyota, and that's become an annual event that we all look forward to. During COVID, we weren't able to have that event at the dealership, so we did have it at the shelter. So we're very happy to get back to the dealership, bring all of our adoptable animals up there, and find some wonderful homes for these animals.
Okay, so we've got that on the 3rd, and then I understand you're going to be right out here with us on the 10th.
We are. We're going to have some information for about responsible pet ownership. We will have some cats out here looking to find a home. So we're happy to be out here for that event as well.
Fantastic. Now, with all this in mind, many of us have pets at home. The holidays for humans are hectic, much less our pets. Let's talk a little bit about keeping everybody safe and happy during the holiday season, because there's food, there are decorations, there's people in and out of the door, there's weird weather. I mean, it's a time. As much fun as it is, it can be a time. So let's talk about safety for our furry family members.
So there are quite a few facets to this as far as keeping your pet safe during the holidays. Of course, there are those foods that can be toxic to animals, dangerous, and just keeping them unwell. So you want to keep them away from human foods, greasy foods, toxic foods like onions, garlic. And then bones, things like that. We don't want to end up at the emergency vet during the holidays. It's already a stressful time.
Right, so first things first is food. Then, of course, I mean, look how shiny those baubles are, right? And if you're a cat, man, that's your favorite thing in the whole world.
Anyone with a cat will understand, but you want to make sure that those ornaments and decorations are secure and out of reach of our animals. We don't want any tinsel, things like that can cause digestive problems for our animals. So keep them safe that way.
And of course, if we have a live tree versus an artificial tree, we've got the basin of water that our tree is in the stand there, and oftentimes people elect to use those preservative chemicals. We don't want anybody drinking out of that either.
Correct. So you want to make sure that everything is safe for your pet during the holiday season.
And finally, last but not least, it's loud. Right, there's music as we get closer to, here in the South, fireworks are a big deal from Christmas right through maybe to Groundhog Day, right? So talk about that noise and that disruption and making sure our pets have a quiet, happy place to go.
Exactly. So it's exciting for us to have friends and family around, everyone in and out, but for our animals that can be really overwhelming. So we want to make sure that our gates are locked, our doors are shut, and that our animals have a safe space to retreat to if they're feeling overwhelmed. So a room, a kennel, somewhere they can go to get out of the way of all of our holiday cheer, so that we're not, having a lost animal during the holidays, a bite, anything like that. That's nothing we want to deal with.
And and we're going to be talking with Kim Collins from our Onslow County Health Department, because you and the health department frequently partner on those safety matters as well. So we're going to get even some more detail about that. The last thing we really want to talk about is you all will probably have some special hours during the holiday season as we're planning to come and perhaps meet that family member, that forever family member there. Talk about your closures and also your hours in general when we could come in and talk to someone, one of your staff, about making that adoption.
Sure. So you can find our hours on our website as well as our Facebook page. We put out lots of information about our events and all of our hours. When we are open, we are there to help you pick out that perfect animal. We have lots of staff that can guide you through the process.
You all are the perfect matchmakers.
We try our best.
You are the perfect matchmakers. Again, let's direct folks to the best way to find out information from Onslow County Animal Services, your telephone number and your socials.
Sure. So our website is always has some great information on it, as well as our Facebook page. Like I said, we're putting out our events, tips for the holidays, as well as information on our adoptable animals. So that's just Onslow County Animal Services for the Facebook page. And then our phone number is 910-455-0182, and we're always happy to help.
Well, Jennifer, thanks for being here with us. Thanks for your love of our furrier Onslow County citizens and all that you do to keep our families safe and to provide those perfect matches.
Thanks so much.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And joining us now is a new friend to Onslow County Today, Kim Collins. Kim, thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, for folks who think you're a new friend, you and I have spent the last 2.5 years primarily on the phone because, Kim, you were part of our really crucial COVID response team. And you were a source of tremendous help and information to me. So before we do anything else, let me just say thank you.
Well, thank you. You and the phone bank and the museum and everyone were great partners as well.
Well, that's what this is about, right? And we just were talking with Jennifer Montefort from Animal Services, who is another one of your key partners in community health and safety and keeping folks well, is the adage of our health department, keeping the well. We want to talk about something that might seem a little unusual, but it's really the importance of keeping our families, our kiddos, safe from animal bites.
Yes.
And that could be domestic or wild. So let's sort of differentiate for folks, if you will, please.
So domestic bites are cats, ferrets, dogs, generally family pets that may bite an individual. And then we follow up on that after it's reported to Animal Services. And
so this is oftentimes, you know, we all say this, more often than not, it's because maybe an animal a domestic animal has been startled, scared, surprised, not used to activity, right?
Right. Most animals don't bite people just because they are inherently aggressive. They usually have some trigger. And especially around the holidays, you want to be careful, make sure that your animals aren't overstimulated. There's a lot of extra children in the house during the holidays sometimes, so making sure that your children know how to interact with pets, not to get in their face, to give them some space, and then just kind of monitoring your pet's condition and how they're dealing with the anxiety.
You know, my mother's little Maltese was more likely to try than sometimes a big dog, right? So we can't always judge a book by its cover.
That's
either.
true.
Now, so if we think about those domestic bites and wanting to make sure everybody, including the pet, is prepared, it's really crucial that we also have our pets vaccinated, right?
Yes, vaccination is very important. It helps keep rabies less of a concern in our community, ensuring that our pets are vaccinated and that our families are safe when interacting with different animals.
So make sure that those pets are well vaccinated, are all up to date on their shots. Make sure that those family members who might be engaging with them understand their temperament, and no surprises, no startled puppies or cats. I mean, cats can
Cats
also.
too.
And then you mentioned ferrets, and people have pet. I mean, it's a little bit, you know, a little bit of everything.
Yes, and then as far as domestic animals go, stray cats as well, cats that you might see out at the park or out when you're out for a walk. Just be mindful not to go up and try to pet them and take them home and pick them up, because sometimes they will bite or scratch you. And in that instance, if you're unable to capture the animal and quarantine it and monitor it for the 10 days of quarantine, then you're indicated to receive post-exposure prophylaxis, because we don't know the status of their vaccination. So just to keep you safe and prevent you from getting rabies, then that's what's indicated.
Well, you know, that's the thing. So oftentimes, and we don't want to do this, but we've been bitten by the neighbor's cat. And why would we need, I mean, we know that cat sort of, we've seen him, but we don't really know that cat story, right?
True. So anytime there is a scratch, bite, exposure, it's important that people do follow up with animal services and let them know, and they'll come check it out, kind of get the information on the vaccination status of the animal, and then it is indicated that that animal quarantine for 10 days. And a lot of times that quarantine can be done in their own home.
Okay.
You just need to monitor and make sure they don't have any symptoms, develop any symptoms of rabies, and then as long as you capture them and as long as they are under monitoring for the 10 days, then if they don't show symptoms, then the individual who was exposed doesn't need to receive the post-exposure vaccination for rabies.
But still always be well aware, because it's beyond rabies, it's also incidents of infection and things like that as well.
So anytime you are bitten or have any exposure, definitely follow up with a medical professional. Make sure you irrigate and flush out the wound, wash it, running water, soap for 15 minutes, follow up with your doctor. And since it is an open wound and there is considered a dirty bite or a dirty wound, then you'll need to make sure that your tetanus is current, which in that situation is within 5 years.
Okay, so that is fantastic information to know just from our local domestic, puppy down the street, right? Or visiting grandma's house.
Right.
And then we want to talk a little bit about those non-domestic, those wild animals. We're on a walk, we're on a family hike, we're in a new unfamiliar place, and weirdly at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, a raccoon walks down the trail.
Right.
Not typical raccoon behavior, by the way.
And raccoons are nocturnal, so usually they're more active at night. If there's an instance where there's food available and they're really hungry and they're just looking for food, it's not always, it doesn't mean they're rabid if they're out running around in the public. But if you do see any kind of animal acting strangely out of their normal behavior, if they have a awkward gait, or if they just seem confused or aggressive, or if you notice the increased salivation, which is more the increased saliva that people notice more for rabies. In that case, definitely do call animal services if you ever see an animal acting strangely, and they can try to come investigate. And then if it's indicated, they can have their animal tested for rabies to make sure that they don't pass anything along to the other animal populations.
And there is some confusion, right, in the public about, oh, this animal can carry rabies, this animal cannot. I mean, there are old wives' tales. I mean, safety is always the best policy, right?
Yes, so any animal, regardless of what it is, dog, horse, cat, ferret, raccoon, bat, anything, any animal exposure or bite, follow up with animal services, and then they'll coordinate with a bite report to the health department, and we can discuss and kind of go over the risk factors and see if you are indicated to receive any kind of post-exposure prophylaxis.
I think that that's also so telling about you and animal services and the partnership that you all have. Your goal is to keep people safe.
Yes.
But it's also to keep people, to help them, and in a time that could be scary, you all are there to provide them the best information.
Yes, and it is important that these things are reported and followed up on, because rabies is very uncommon in humans, but the majority of the time, if humans do develop symptoms, it is ultimately fatal, and it happens pretty quick.
So we want to be really on the ready, take immediate action, even if no bite occurred, but you've seen unusual activity, and especially then if there is contact, if there's a bite, scratch, we want to take immediate action and report it, and also deal with our own medical professionals as well.
Yes, that is correct.
Kim, it's a lot of information, but in this time, again, we know that the holidays are celebratory, but you might be in an unusual household, visiting family and friends, safety first. If folks have those questions or need to find out more about the services that our Onslow County Health Department offers, how's the best way to reach you all?
The main health department number is 910-347-2154. And if you call there, they can direct you to whichever department you're interested in. So just ask for the rabies communicable disease nurse if that's what your questions are about, but anything else like STDs, pregnancy, prenatal care, any other communicable disease, anything like that.
Well, we are so grateful for your time and for this valuable information. We wish you a very happy and quiet holiday season.
Thank you. You too.
And that you enjoy this time. But really, thank you so much for the information and your commitment to keeping Onslow County citizens safe and happy and healthy.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And we were joking earlier, but really, we are honored to have the Queen of Christmas, LaQuisha Cadwallader from Onslow County Park and Rec. LaQuisha, thank you for letting us be here with you today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, it's pretty fantastic.
It is. It is.
And I have to ask, is it taller than last year?
Yes, ma'am. It grew. It grew. We have a 40-foot Christmas tree this year.
This is spectacular,
Yes.
LaQuisha.
Yes.
Christmas is here, and you have brought us to the heights that we can't even imagine. So at Onslow County Park and Recreation, you all are just jam-packed with things for us to do.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's kick off. We know that you had been publicizing a big event that you're partnering with our friends at the library on. Full.
Yes.
We just checked Max and Friends right off our list.
Yes, ma'am.
Already set.
Yeah.
And then you also have a special event coming up at Hines Farm, one of our park sites. Tell us about it.
We do have a kids' night out, so the kids can come out and they're going to bake some Christmas goodies. Yes, it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night.
Well, one, I mean, it's not Christmas until you bake some cookies
Absolutely.
or some treats.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Definitely.
that site is perfect for that.
It is.
You have a
It is.
beautiful location. What are the ages of children who can participate?
Ages 5 to 12.
Okay, and this, when you say kids' night out, what's the time frame?
From 5:30 to 9:30.
Okay.
So they can drop the kids off and go finish up some last-minute Christmas shopping while the kids are baking some goodies.
All right, so this is a drop-off event, not a
Yes.
family event, but a drop-off kiddo time.
Yes.
Maybe, you know, finish up or just have a moment of quiet.
That's right.
Before it all begins.
That's right, yes.
And then the kids. Now, is there a fee to go to kids night out?
Yes, ma'am. There is a $25 fee
Okay.
for the children, and then there's a $5 discount for siblings.
Okay, so we've got the fee 5 to 12. 5:30 to 9:30
Yes, ma'am.
at Hines Farm. For folks who may be not familiar, because that's one of our newer parks, can give us some sort of geography, a little map there.
The address is 1259 McAllister Road.
Okay.
And it's not far. It's off of Highway 258.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So not far from the Government Center
Right, not
and our
far.
senior center.
Yes, and if you're familiar with Linwood Zoo, it's not far from there.
All right, so just head down that little path. It's a wonderful site, and what a great place because it's so cottagey, cozy feeling.
Right, very cozy.
What a perfect place to.
Yes.
Now, is there a limit to the number of children that will be accepted to the program? Can
Yes,
register?
ma'am. We're going to cap it off at 40 children.
Okay, capped off at 40, 5 to 12. Make some goodies.
Yes.
And have some fun.
Yeah, some crafts. We're going to play some Christmas music, maybe do some karaoke. Yes, yes.
Christmas
fun times.
karaoke's the best.
Oh, it is. Jingle bells.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, then, the 10th. The 10th of December. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you so
I
ready?
am so ready and very excited. It's like the moment we've all been waiting for.
Now, last year was the inaugural event.
It was.
We've never seen anything like this before in Onslow County.
Right.
And you only made it bigger.
Yes, had to.
So tell us about the tree lighting ceremony and the whole tree lighting Christmas festival day that's going to be going on.
We have a really fun day and evening planned for the community. On December the 10th, it starts at 2 p.m. and it's going to go until 6 p.m. until we plug in that tree. We have some live entertainment coming. Arbor Strings of Wilmington is going to be here.
Beautiful.
Yes, Stanley Bear Jazz Group is going to be here. And we can't forget about our littles. We have the Camp Lejeune Dance Theater coming.
Oh,
yes, to do some
sweet.
ballet and some dance for us as well. Santa Claus is going to make an appearance. Mrs. Claus is going to make an appearance. Some fun crafts. It's just going to be fun, fun, fun.
I will tell you, I mean, here we are, it's December, and it's 70 degrees today.
Oh, I
while
know.
we're out here imagining, you know, a white Christmas and
Yes.
snow. Last year, we had your beautiful inaugural event. It was just as warm. It was a gorgeous day.
It was.
But people should prepare. It could be warm, It could be cold.
It could be cold.
But
yes.
beyond anything else, it's about the holiday season.
That's right. It's still going to be Christmas.
It could be fall, winter. It's the holiday season.
That's right. That's right.
Now, with that event, charge for the public, or is it free and open?
It's free and open. We want everybody and anybody to come. We want you to bring a toy, a new unwrapped toy for our Toys for Tots, and in exchange, we're going to give you a nice, warm, hot chocolate.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So we've got, in conjunction with everything else you've got going on, you're going to do a toy drive.
We are. We're going to do a toy drive. We're going to do animal adoption. Onslow Animal Services will be here to help you with that.
You know, this is the true spirit of a community event. It really reaches out to everyone and also gives you as a member of the community an opportunity to give back as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So December the 10th, mark your calendars now with a gold star, bright red.
That's right.
Tree lighting and everything that goes along with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Then school is out for the holiday season.
Yes.
Mom and Dad, Grandma might still need to work.
That's right.
So you all have partnered with our friends in Holly Ridge.
We have. We've partnered with Holly Ridge, and we're going to do a holiday camp for our children. Yes, that's going to start.
That is awesome.
Yes, ma'am. We're very excited to service that part of our community. December the 19th it starts until the 21st, those 3 days. And then we're right back after Christmas, the 28th through the 30th. We're going to have those 3 days. And there's going to be field trips, on-site field trips, maybe some off-site field trips, some crafts, and just a good time.
How terrific. So holiday camp in Holly Ridge seems only appropriate.
That's right.
Now, to participate, to register, what do we need to do?
You will need to go to onslow.recdesk.com and you can register there. You can register for all 6 days, or you can register for 1 day, whatever suits your schedule.
All right, and everything always, you've made it so easy because everything's online now.
Yes, everything's right there. Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
fantastic. Well, LaQuisha, as the Queen of Christmas in Onslow County, I know you're going to be so tired, but can we just say thank you for all your hard work, not just at Christmas time, but all year long. You always have something terrific going on for our families.
It truly is my honor.
Well, you all are terrific. For folks who want to know more about anything that is going on at Onslow County Park and Recreation, please direct us to your best telephone number and, of course, all your social media information.
Yes, you can always call us at 910-347-5332. Anybody will be glad to assist you at that phone number, and always follow us on our Facebook page and our Instagram, and never forget about our website.
Fantastic. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Miss Lisa.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and as we close out our show, we wanted to have our special guest. We've got Sharon Griffin joining us to talk with us about sort of the end of 2022, the start of 23, and really a holiday wish for our citizens. So Sharon, just as you think about the year in review, can you believe how quickly this year has truly flown?
I really can't. I was getting ready to say, I cannot believe it's already the end of the year. This has been such a quick year.
And a year of, while not without challenges, this time last year, you and I were having conversations about our continued COVID response. And we were at the peak of Omicron and just all of that. And despite the rapidity of this year, it's such a different kind of year for us.
It really is. And even though we're still watching COVID-19 and the impacts from that, I think this year has really been defined by how do we start afresh and anew? How can we serve the public in a better way in this new world that we find ourselves in after the pandemic with the lessons we've learned?
And I think that that's what, in your leadership and the conversations we've been having, it's about what comes next.
That's right.
What comes next. In terms of what you're hearing, we have the addition of a new leader on our Board of Commissioners as well, with Commissioner Carpenter, who will be joining us.
Yes.
Again, as you're looking to the next year, what are you sort of thinking about? What are you sort of imagining, and what are your teams telling you that this next year can hold?
Well, it's really exciting to be here in Onslow County right now. We're seeing so many signs of growth, and our community has growing pains, and part of what we do at the county is we help ease those growing pains, and we make sure that the services of Onslow County keep pace. And that's a lot of the work we're doing right now. We're viewing into the 5 to 10 year outlook. Wow. And we're trying to anticipate what will the needs of our citizens be as we move forward into what Onslow County might become.
Well, and I think that that's the conversation that we always have in local government, is the continuity
That's right.
of who we are, and then the change of who we might be.
That's right.
As we're ending this year, what would your wish be for our community?
I would just really wish that everyone feels that generous gift-giving spirit of Christmas. This has been a tough economic year for a lot of families, and I think there's so much joy to be gained in looking around yourself, maybe not focusing so much on the decorations and the gifts to the immediate family, but looking around and finding those needs around you and really giving generously, because that's really when the Christmas spirit hits you.
Well, it's the reminder of the least of these that are among us.
That's right.
And looking deep. Sharon, I thank you for your kindness and for your spirit of generosity that you bring to your leadership, because I think that all of that is felt.
Thank you.
And we thank you for what you do, and for your leadership in this year of change and growth, and we just wish you and your family the happiest of seasons.
And we wish you the best as well, Lisa, and happy, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your family as well.
Thank you. Thank you, as always, for joining us for Onslow County today, and a special thank you to each of our guests who shared with us important messages and reminders for all of us. As we stand here beneath this beautiful, beautiful tree, we're reminded that this is the season when things go big. But it's also the season for us all to have big hearts and remember our neighbors who might need a little extra love, a little extra help. For Onslow County today and all of our Onslow County staff, we wish you the happiest of holiday seasons.